Hi, I'm Tom Rig, and this is how I animated Please, Please, Please in Blender.
Please, 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 don't prove I'm right.
So, can you tell I'm nervous? Because I'm kind of nervous because I've never actually like recorded a YouTube video before. I mean, like officially. So this is kind of new. This is kind of scary. But here we are. You may know me as Tom Rig, as this guy, or as this guy, and or you may not know me at all because I'm not an influencer. But anyway. I just wanted to make this video because, oh, by the way, my laptop is down here. So if you see me looking down, it's because my laptop's down here. But I wanted to make this video because this is kind of like my first full-length animation, I would say. Kind of. I mean, I did animate White Christmas, and then I did delete a few weeks later because I didn't like it anymore and I felt like it just wasn't good enough. Maybe I have a video. If I have a video, I'm gonna put it like up here. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to do like a sort of like a breakdown, if you call it a breakdown, of like how I did it. That's pretty much it. I don't really know what the structure of this video is gonna be, so please bear with me as I try to figure out how I'm gonna explain this to you, because how do you really explain how you created something? And I mean that in the way of like, for example, with my most popular video, Bedcam, that I pretty much like wrote everything in the bus on the way back from school. So it's like, what's interesting about that? And it's like, how am I gonna make a whole YouTube video about this? Because right now, I feel like this is more like a vlog than a breakdown, but I don't really know what else to do. So I think I'm gonna divide this video into three parts. Well, three parts. First we're gonna talk about the set, like the place, and then we're gonna talk about the animation itself, and then post-processing. Ow, because that is really the only thing I can think of to explain how I did this. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I'm sorry, I can't. Let's get started. So the set is basically like, I'm gonna put like all of the Pinterest pictures that I used as like reference images, like right here. So they should be here. And this whole thing was kind of just like inspired by the music video itself. If you've seen the music video, it's kind of like in a sort of this like diner. Is it a diner? No, it's like in a prison. Then there's a diner scene. I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's a diner scene with like the whole fight. So most of the set was just inspired by that. I just wanted to kind of like recreate that in Blender. Should I be screen recording? This is so embarrassing. I don't really know how to sync audio to video. And that's why I'm kind of scared to screen record, because then how do I match this up with whatever I'm saying? But let us attempt to do that. I am recording from my phone because I don't have a vlog camera, but we will level up soon. I hope and pray that I'm gonna be able to match this screen recording later, because if I can't, you will not understand anything. Let's just hope. And if I did, I'm gonna make myself smaller in 3, 2, 1. Like that. Also, the screen recording is a bit glitchy. It is because of my laptop. In my laptop, I have a Core i5. If you're an animator or a video editor, you know that is negligible at this point. At this point, I don't even have a laptop. I'm staring at the air. And if you're wondering how I am able to render what I do render, I do pay for a render farm, and I would recommend doing the same. If you have the money, which I don't, let me tell you, but if you have the money and if you really need it, I would recommend getting a render farm. My render farm is Render Street. This is definitely not sponsored. I wish. So this is like the whole set. This is pretty much it. Like the way, now that I think about it, half of the set is not even like visible on the final render because I only use like this front part where you see the cursor. That's like mainly the part that I use, and then the other kitchen tunnel thing that we saw. But this is basically it. When building environments, especially if I'm building like something indoors, I really focus on getting the shape of the place right, like getting like the base, like the room and stuff like that, right? Just so I can get like an overall like feel of like the scene. And then, because I write all of my animations before, like if I'm animating a song, I'm gonna write down, for example, I was in a sheer dress. I'm gonna write I was in a sheer dress on the calculator, whatever, like that.
I was in a sheer dress the day that we met. We were
So I have that all written down on my notes. Maybe I think I have the notes for please, please, please. Oh, this is, yeah, you're right, yeah. So I try to like write all that down first so that I can know what to do. So it's kind of like storyboarding, you know what I mean? Just without drawing anything because I can't draw shit. But so I just write down everything that I'm gonna do, and then I make the set, like the basic, like for example, I don't know. Also, don't mind these names. These names are a mess. I make these names for myself so that I understand them, not for anyone. So basically, that will be making just like blocking this whole part out first, you know, just figuring out all those dimensions and stuff like that. ChatGPT is really useful for, there you go, my computer, slow as fuck. ChatGPT is really useful for like, if you want to know dimensions of like a certain place. For example, I really use it for when I want to know, I don't know, average living room size. And it's gonna tell me it's 4x3, whatever. And you can just build on from there. That helps like add realism. So you just don't have like this big ass scene and then you don't understand why the lighting isn't like covering it properly, whereas because it's huge. Also, using a human model really helps. That's pretty much the first thing I do every time I open a file. I just import like a male base mesh just to like help me to like keep track of like scale and stuff like that. But yeah, I basically just started with like building this part out. I do model in Blender. I do model, like I do build stuff, but in the long run, because I like to work in like different projects at the same time, modeling every single thing in your scene makes no sense. You're just gonna take weeks, months, years to finish one render. So I would say a good like 50-50. Half of my models are modeled by myself, and the other half are like from CG Trader, Polyhaven, etc. And this jukebox, I also had to model it myself because I didn't find anything that was good for free. That was good. So I modeled it. Maybe you don't need to see the reference images for that. No one cares. But yeah, half of the scene is really not seen like at all in the final thing. Also, I get my textures from Ambient CG. That's a really great place to get textures. Is that it about the set? I mean, what really is there to talk about? Because I just try to like, number one, build out the base, like the basic stuff. The room itself, put in like chairs, tables, windows, whatever, you know, like just really get like a basic feel. Add in the textures, etc. And then I put in the models. So as I'm writing down the animation, there's specific things I'm gonna want for the animation. For example, I know I have good judgment is on the CD. And I know that I'm gonna need the CD. So I'm gonna model the CD and I'm gonna put the CD in area X. And then I know I have the sign. I'm also gonna put that on area X. So I focus on modeling these things first before filling up the stuff with like props. One thing I wish I would have understood sooner is that like, you kind of just have to like take it step by step, because if you try to fill out your scene with all the props at the same time, it's gonna be really messy and you're not gonna be able to control that, especially for people like me who have a really shit laptop. So I focus on, after getting the base done, I put the main models that I need, the CD, the jukebox, the sign, the mannequins, the camera, the menu, all that. I model that, I put that around, I scatter them around whatever they need to be, and then I start animating, but with nothing around. The only thing I'm seeing is like the most important parts of the scene, and then the models that are, you know, most important for the animation. And that's pretty much it on the set. There's nothing too interesting about here. I don't think so. Yeah, there's nothing interesting. So now let's talk about the animation. I am not a professional animator by any means, no matter what y'all may think, because I feel like for the average person who obviously does not animate, it may come across as like I really know what I'm doing. Let me tell you, I'm kind of like a little bit like all over the place. I kind of just do whatever feels right, and then if it looks good, it looks good. These are the keyframes for this camera. These are pretty much all the keyframes for this camera. By the way, a nice trick that I feel like everyone uses, but this animation was long. Obviously it was the whole song. And if you notice, the camera is going in one singular streak. Like the camera does not stop. There's only like those few cuts of like that mafia guy person thing. But still, it's a cut over the camera. The camera actually never stops. Like there's never like a switch in the thing, right? It just keeps going all the way, all throughout the animation. And what I like to do with big scenes like, well, with long scenes like this, when I'm getting a little bit like fed up or overwhelmed and I don't want to like keep, because there's three main parts to this animation. There is the diner, there is the kitchen, sort of, and then there is the tunnel and the gun room thing, right? And I kind of did the diner and the kitchen in one file, and then I just duplicated it and did the rest in the other file. But in the other file, I obviously deleted everything else that I did not need, so that I could just like work a little bit smoothly. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about right now. For example here, okay, this animation ends at frame 4020. So, and at frame 4010, the camera is obviously here. So what I did is that at this exact moment, I made a copy of this file. I deleted all of this. Oh, Jesus, sorry. Oh well, I'm so bad at this, Christ. I deleted pretty much all of this and pretty much all of these assets that I don't need, that I hear just taking up space. And I kept all of the lights, and then I began the next animation on frame 4010, so that both would begin at around this spot. By the way, something happened, and it doesn't like match up perfectly. I don't think any of you guys noticed it, or I don't think anybody's gonna notice it up until this point. But if you go and rewatch it, you can tell that there's like a tiny like cut there, which is like, you know, what's that about? But yeah, the camera animation is like pretty simple, just normal. There's really nothing fancy about my animation. I don't think so. Pretty much just moving things around, going with the song. One thing I really like to do is to play with the cadence. The part where she goes, "Yeah, I know." Instead of putting like any lyrics on that, I just kind of move the camera back to kind of match up with it goes like, "Yeah, wow, the vocals are not there, let me tell you. Yeah, I know." So stuff like that is what I'm talking about. Or maybe when there's like a clap, because the only thing I'm really trying to do here is just trying to give like a visual to the music, you know? This thing, I got it from this reference picture right here. I just thought that was like kind of cool. I wanted like a vintage, like old Hollywood type of title thing. Yeah, I'm just like really just going through the scene, like seeing if there's anything specific to talk about. There's really nothing much here, honestly. I feel like this really is one of my more boring-ish animations, you know? I don't know. By the way, for the part where when the camera, after the gunshot, when the camera goes into the kitchen, before the camera goes into the kitchen, the blood isn't there. If you want to know, how I made that was basically with this note setup. Never mind. So this doesn't. How the fuck did I make? How did I make this? Hello? Now I'm getting confused. Okay. I do not know how the glass became bloody after the camera came back. Props to me. But for the part of the door, basically, since you can't see the inside of the door, like you can't see this place with the door, I didn't really have to do any like animation there. I just made this material. I duplicated the metal material that I got from Ambient CG, and this one just has like a noise texture with some red on it. So when it opens, after, it looks like there was like blood. Then all of this stuff you see right here, these like bread thingies, these are from Ambient CG. I'm pretty sure they're all from Ambient CG. This is from Polyhaven. I really like to use Polyhaven because Polyhaven models are really good quality, and it's free. Yeah, and they're made really well. So I usually use models from Ambient CG, Polyhaven, and CG Trader. Then just like kind of trying to match like the models to whatever the lyrics are saying. I didn't have a lot of ideas for this one specifically for the models, but like for example the cross, like the words, whatever that was inside you, don't let him out tonight, are on the cross, which is like, like Jesus, devil, you get it. Yeah. Then here we have the kitchen scene. Both of these models are from Mixamo. Mixamo is also a pretty good website with pre-made animations. Really good if you want a character and you don't want to animate it yourself. Because fun fact, I don't really know how to animate characters. Character animation is not my thing, let me tell you. So that's why I kind of avoid it. Not avoid it, but I don't do it with a passion. I don't do it with a passion. This vinyl was like a simple, just like a quick explosion simulation. I didn't really mess with it that much, and honestly it could have been better, but it worked. So this is what it looks like. Also, another good tip is to use this scene function, because my computer is running out of space. Now that's good to know. Use this scene function over here, because when you want to work on specific parts of your animation, for example, simulations, when you have like a long animation and your viewport's really slow, whatever, just put it in a different scene and work in it over there, and it's gonna link it back to the original scene, and you can view it better. Like I said, this was just a really nothing complicated, just like a normal explosion. Yeah, so that's the vinyl, and it goes and it flies around everywhere and makes a mess. Also, same thing with all these vegetables. I made them like a rigid body and stuff like that, and I put them in a different scene so I could just animate them a little bit easier. The material for this powder, which is I got it from Ryan Kingard. Maybe I'll put the video in the description, but I got it from him. He's also a really great channel if you want to learn how to make materials and stuff like that. Would definitely recommend him. And then here I just did a little bit of light animation. I did this myself. Me being so proud of myself. No, I did that myself. So the dye, I just made them with the booleans. So the please was obviously text, and then I just converted the text into a mesh and then made it into a boolean, and then that was that. Nothing too interesting here either. Both this text and the one previous, the one that said please, please, please coming out of the little pipe, I just use wave modifiers to make it that gives it a cool little effect. Same thing here with the bullets, just booleans. Driver's license is just a driver's license with a mysterious unidentified man. And that was pretty much it for this scene. And then like I said, I cut it off at 4010. So let me go to 4010, and I'm gonna open the other one. And this is how the other part looks. So this scene, like I said, has pretty much nothing. This is only the kitchen and forward. And even in the kitchen, there is nothing much. There's just everything that you could see in the other scene. In the other file is here, but that's pretty much it, because I just wanted this to work a little bit easier. And then this is the whole tunnel. The camera goes like that up to there. Sorry for my laptop once again, but nothing too interesting. A very simple tunnel. The reference image for this tunnel, this one, and these pipe things, I got them from Polyhaven. Like I said, Polyhaven is my ride or die. The graffiti that I put here, this is graffiti, by the way. This is graffiti. This is the thing just with a transparency thing. This I got from ArtStation a few months ago. I don't even remember, but it was this big ass pack of a bunch of decals, and I'm not sure if it's still available, but if it is, I will not link it. Then I just wanted to put, my initials on this door, because why not? And the gun room is pretty self-explanatory, just a room. All of these guns, I got them from CG Trader. I am not going, like I said, imagine if I were to model all of these. These are 5 different types, I'm pretty sure, and if I model all of this, it would take me a good while, you know what I'm saying? And I could just use that energy elsewhere. So this is all with the gun room. For the fire simulation, I'm only going to show you one, because they're all pretty much the exact same. And if I can find where it is. For the explosions, I followed a tutorial from Blender Made Easy. I'm gonna put that video in the description because it's a really good video. And that's also another really, really good channel to watch if you're a beginner. I'm gonna show you the one for the final shot. I think that one is the best. Okay, so this is the last explosion. Like I said, I got this from Blender Made Easy. It was actually a pretty easy simulation to make. The only part I had a bad time with was to actually try to slow it down, because my idea was I'm gonna render this at a really high frame rate. My frame rate was 128 frames per second. Why 128? I don't know. So I rendered it as 128 frames per second, but then I put it into DaVinci Resolve, and it was just being really weird. It was being really weird. Oh, and fun fact, I have not even finished this yet. So at the time you're watching this, I'm not even done. This tutorial is, well, it's not a tutorial, it's a breakdown. This breakdown is not complete. No, yes it is. I'm done with it. Like, I'm gonna render this today. It's done, but it's still rendering. That's beside the point. Anyway, this simulation is basically just, it's very simple. It's just one icosphere with this particle system. Okay, just a bunch of particles with some velocity, normal at 6 and z at 6. That's really it. I didn't even add any rotation to this, I don't know why. But and a little bit of randomization. And then the cube is just the domain. As we know, this thing would be the flow object. I baked this at 180. I baked this in 180 divisions, and that's really it. There is actually really nothing impressive about this simulation. If my laptop can cooperate, here we go. Basically, the fire is just made up of these particles. Again, Blender Made Easy, his video, you're gonna understand much more than me. He's the one who I followed from either way. So I would recommend you go watch that. But yeah, just a very simple, really cool looking fire sim that looks like this. And that is pretty much it for the animation. I could show you the other stuff that I made, like the little fun stuff. For example, the end part, I just thought that would be like interesting. Like, you know, we all know like the Looney Tunes closing thing. I don't even know it's from the Looney Tunes, but you know what I'm talking about. This was pretty fun. I thought that was a fun thing. And then the other thing, this thing, again, just another classic like thing we've all seen everywhere in literally every like old movie and stuff like that. I just thought that was interesting. And Blender crashed. I think that's a sign. The Blender crashed and my laptop stopped recording. It's a sign. I think this video is done. I was gonna show you the color grading, but I don't think that's very important. I mean, what do I really have to talk about that? With color grading, color grading is in the eye of the beholder, and y'all are the beholders. So what the fuck does that do with me? No, okay. This video is done. I think this video is done. This video is done. This was fun. This was so fun. I love recording this. By the time you see this, today is Thursday. Today's Thursday. I'm gonna upload the little teaser video today, and then the actual thing will come out on Wednesday. And I hope y'all like it, because if you don't, nothing's gonna happen. I'm gonna keep animating. But yeah. Anyway, see you later. I stole that outro from Ryan, by the way.